Dr. Nieh, I've wanted to do this interview for some time. You are the vice president of the Global Service Center to quit the Communist Party, quit the Chinese Communist Party, where almost 400 million people now have actually volitionally decided to quit the party. And there's a whole incredible story there to be told, which we're going to do today. Because of your work, right now, everybody wants to know about the realities of these lockdowns in Shanghai and Shenzhen and other, huge number of the population of China right now. You and the organization have your ear to the ground in China. What are you seeing over there?
Well, yes, about the trade down movements, it's based on the Chinese people who learned about the facts and truths about CCP and the crimes and what have they done to Chinese cultures and people and families. Okay, they've been brainwashed for decades. They may not know about it. Okay, once they know about it, I think most of them want to withdraw from the organization. They don't want to be part of that. The things happening recently, like the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic in Shanghai and in Shenzhen, in Beijing, Changchun, and Guangzhou, as many places, it's the time for Chinese to really experience firsthand, like the lockdown in Shanghai. There are many people realize that the communist leaders only worry about this political stability, okay, and they turn the pandemic into a political task to maintain the stability of the city so they can hold on to the power, but not really the benefit of the residents in Shanghai was 26 million people there.
And we'll go through all of the details of how the Quit the CCP Center works, what it actually does, what does it mean that 400 million people have actually quit. But I guess what we really want to know right now, what a lot of people are asking me is, what's really happening there?
This lockdown in Shanghai is, in Chinese terminology, from the top is zero tolerance. Zero tolerance of COVID-19. It means that they don't want COVID-19 in Shanghai, in China, in any place. But how they do that, they have a long histories of communists doing things. There was the old times when they talk about zero tolerance of sparrows, the bird, okay, which caused damage to the agricultural crops in the late 50s. Zero tolerance of swine flu, okay, those pigs with virus, and then zero tolerance of the avian flu, and this time zero tolerance of COVID-19. But unfortunately, this time the carrier is human beings. Those people infected, okay, those people suspect to be infected. They have a zero tolerance of that. So they want they to be out, okay, to be quarantined, locked down, or to be removed from the city so that the city is clean with no COVID-19.
So you're basically saying that this exact same terminology, zero tolerance, that's being used right now for COVID-19 is the same that was used in the 50s during the Great Leap Forward, for example?
Yes, that's my observation, is that they follow the same philosophy of communist ruling. Okay, when they don't want something, they don't tolerate that, zero tolerance of this and that. And so they happened many times in the past, okay, the way they handle that. This time happened to be COVID-19. So they lock down the people or relocate the people from the city to contain the virus. Unfortunately, this time, those people affected or infected or suspect to be infected lost their basic right and freedoms. So you hear about screaming at the balcony of apartment buildings. So one after another need food or need medicines.
We live in an era of censorship and disinformation, and it can be really hard to know what's true and what's false in this information climate. To get honest information and insights you can trust, join us on Epoch TV. You can sign up for your 14-day free trial at ept.ms/epoch. ept.ms/freetrialjan. That's ept.ms/freetrialjan. Okay, so this is, kind of the extreme version of what we know of as lockdowns, which are also implemented in many places in the West. Now, the thing about this is there's actually people being also removed from the cities, or the people that actually test positive are being put in quarantine. Tell me about that a little bit.
Well, it's for the Shanghai cities, and they cannot tolerate to have the infected people in Shanghai city. So some of the people being relocated to nearby province or the cities so that they can claim zero infected in Shanghai. That's a very strange philosophy, but that Shanghai is recognized more than other places in China to protect. So those they call troublemakers, they relocate them to other places. It's no longer problems of Shanghai. I don't know how many people die of COVID-19, but I do know there's possibly a lot of people die of secondary treatments like lockdown, quarantines, forceful things, a lack of medical cares of regular patients. But as long as to the leaders of the communists, if there's nobody or very few people die of COVID-19, then he's good. If people die of non-COVID things, that's secondary. I think that's the mentality of that. Many times they cared about the welfare of the people, citizens or residents in the city or in the community. You can see the Sun Chunlan, who is the vice premier of CCP, she went to Shanghai and told the leaders of Shanghai Communist Party, you have to do this and that. Then she returns to the city again to make sure they follow the central orders to keep control the pandemic, keep the zero tolerance of the COVID-19. Okay, and she's not saying that, take care of the people. She just fight against the COVID-19, and the people may get benefit or may get suffered.
Why don't we dive into this? As we speak, there are tens of thousands of people a day that are quitting the Chinese Communist Party. And this is just something that's not, I think, generally known, certainly in the US, in the West. First of all, how did this start?
退党 is Chinese characters, which is short of 退出共产党, means withdrawal from Communist Party. So 退党, the first and last words, is the withdrawal from Communist Party in China and its affiliates. Not only the party, the Communist Youth League, the Communist Young Pioneer, there are three organizations people are associated with or they have been associated with in the past. Then cutting the tie with the three organizations is called 退党. It's really a very quiet phenomena, particularly for the individual's identity and safety concern. So it's not something is designed for the Western journalists, the scholars. That it's different from some better known Chinese dissidents manifestos or call for change like student demonstration in Tiananmen Square that the West know about. The 退党 movement is a grassroots, nonviolent, quiet phenomena happening in China. It is primarily is the individual choice that they don't want to identify with CCP and affiliates anymore.